Hello and welcome to Rural Stories. Today we're interviewing Louis, who will be sharing about his work in rural communities. Louis is the CEO and co-founder of Emerging Markets Actuarial Consulting, an organization using human-centered research and design to uncover insights and develop solutions for the insurance deprived in Africa. He has previously worked with global insurance pioneers and has vast experience in the inclusive insurance market. Hi, Louis. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, Yvonne. Thank you for having me.
Yes, great. Thank you. So let's talk about your work. Can you share a little bit about how you started your career as an actuary?
Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much, Yvonne. So basically, my career in Actuarial was actually accidental. When I was finishing high school, I wanted to become a doctor. Yeah. But the only thing that made me not become a doctor is because I missed the points to get to medical school, and I had to compromise. So Actuarial for me was a compromise. But the interesting fact is, looking back, I think I would have made a terrible doctor. I don't have that attention to detail that's required, or even the patience for you to actually become a doctor. So to say, things kind of worked out the best way for me possible. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So you spent most part of your professional life designing microinsurance solutions for millions of unserved and underserved in Africa. Can you tell us about what informed this decision and what drives you to keep at it?
Yeah, so while in my last year in campus, something interesting happened. When I was doing my end year project, I decided to take a different route as opposed to do a lot of modeling. I decided to do a bit of product design, and my target was actually the youth. How would the youth access insurance? So me and my friends designed a product around this. But when we came to do research, the literature review section of the project, that's when we realized what we were trying to do was actually being done by other people, and whatever we were trying to do was microinsurance. I didn't know before then. So I got so much interested because our paths kind of interlocked. So from there, I did a lot of research on microinsurance, who are the players. And my next logical step was to find an internship in one of these organizations. And that's exactly what I did. And I found myself interning at Microinsure, the now microinsurance company. I started off as an actuary assistant to the global actuary. And I grew from there. In the industry, that is. But what really drove me to this sector is I think I'm always passionate about innovation. Number one, I didn't want to go to a traditional insurer, do things the normal way that have been done for hundred of years. I wanted to be a bit unique and get a platform that allows me to innovate. And I found that space in the microinsurance space because things are still very new. And there's a lot of experimentation going on, which allows, again, for innovation. Beyond that, personally, I grew up in the rural areas of Kenya. I actually grew up in a farm, and most of our neighbors were actually very poor. And so when I grew and I got this education, I was like, how can I give it back to my society? How can I do something that will directly impact where I came from? And microinsurance, doing things like agriculture insurance or health insurance to farmers and people in the rural region, is actually something that touches the deepest part of me, because I actually grew up with these people. And whenever I go back there, I see people living in poverty the way they were doing 20 years ago. So this is a very passionate area for me. And everything I'm doing, I'm trying to see if I can change the situation to be different from the environment that I grew up in. So yeah, that's why I'm in this area, microinsurance, and everything I'm doing, I'm just trying to see if I can make the community better than I found it.
That's so great. It's so great to actually do that. Regardless of how far you've grown, you always remember where you're from and how you can actually use what you know how to do best, which is actually utilizing technologies to solve problems, and then you're having to use that to help your community and to help the rural communities in Africa. That's so great. Thank you. So majority of rural communities in Africa are struggling to access financial services. How has your company impacted these communities? What success story? Like, can you give us one success story that you can have to share?
Cool. Yeah, thank you. So it's very true that inclusivity is a big topic, especially in Africa, in different verticals. So for us is the financial inclusion space, and to be more specific, the microinsurance space. So inclusivity for us is critical, because what we've realized is for years, banks and insurance companies and other financial institutions have neglected almost the 90% of the population go without these services, and we consider these services actually crucial for development of the economy. So for us, what we are doing at emerging markets is trying to go down to the grassroots, reach these people who have not been included in the formal financial services sector, and get to understand why this is the current situation, study the current coping mechanisms, basically the way things are working before financial services, how they cope with their current situation. And after that, we try and devise ways in which we can help include these people into these services. So for us to do that, we utilize a methodology called human-centered design. So human-centered design is a research and design process that involves the end user. So traditionally, people would create a product in the boardroom and then take it to these poor people, hoping they're gonna take it. But you can agree, if you're creating a product for people in the slum, and you and I don't live in the slum, it's very crucial that the guy living in the slum participate in the design process. And that's what we actually do. So we go meet these people, whether they're in the rural regions, the most remote places in Africa, or the biggest slums in Africa. We actually meet with these people, talk to them to understand basically their current situation as it is before we start to innovate. That's why all our projects always start with research. Even though we have some bit of information about these people, we only take it up as a hypothesis. We say, okay, poor people don't have money, or they're not buying insurance because they don't have money. Then you put that as a hypothesis and you go and test that. Or you say they're illiterate. You don't just assume, you don't know what level of illiteracy they are. So you just say illiteracy is just a hypothesis which you can either be disapproved or get proved right. So once we do this, we get to understand their current situation. Then we start now developing products with them, asking them what would make you take insurance, for example. How would you want this insurance to reach you? And they would get very fascinating answers, like, I don't want an agent coming and selling me insurance. I don't want somebody whom I've never met before to sell me insurance. I actually want to buy my insurance from a person that I already know. That already does something to your mind when you're designing this product. So you're like, okay, my distribution process has to be familiar, has to be trusted. Yeah. Or they would tell, I don't want to pay an annual premium. I get my money on a daily basis where I go to work. Or if I'm a farmer, I get my money once or twice a year, depending on the farming seasons or the farming cycles. And they actually want to emulate the way they pay premium the same way they receive money. So if they receive money daily, you have to think, how can I get these people to actually pay on a daily basis? If they receive money per cycle or per season, then how do I align my product with their financial trends? And these are things that are very important to actually go to the field and pick them up. Then we as actuaries can then come back to the office and design something that actually resonates with these people. So we've done a lot of these projects around inclusion, talking to these people, understanding what is really the pain point in the entire insurance value chain. Where are the different pain points? And the pain points are so many, right? From the very basic knowledge of insurance to how they actually pay for this insurance and how they actually get paid money back in terms of claims. All these are different value chains, different points of the value chain that actually have particular pain points that you're trying to solve. So to your next question about success stories, I think let me share this one project we are currently doing right now with APA Insurance in Kenya and FSD, together with an NGO called Akiba Mashinani Trust, abbreviated as AMT. So these are projects focused on insuring people in the slums or the informal settlements in Africa. So in Kenya particularly, slums are faced with different challenges, which are the same across Africa. Number one is sanitation, poor infrastructure, and also there's a lot of health issues because of the sanitation. And then there's the risk of slums are always burning down from time to time. So we were interested to know how can we protect people living in the informal settlement to mitigate some of these risks that they face on a day-to-day basis. So we went and did research starting last year. We talked to these people, we talked to so many people, getting to sit down with them, having focus group discussions, having interviews like this one, although this was in person, although in the middle of the pandemic, getting to understand their situation on the ground. And then from there, picking up key risks that need to be addressed. So in this case, we picked up things around fire. Fire was a big issue. There was health, was a big issue, as well as loss of life for the breadwinner. And what we did, we designed a product around this. We designed a product that's basically, just 10 shillings a day, which translates to about 10 cents to the dollar. 10 cents to the dollar, which they have to pay on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And we've had, so it addresses particular risk. It's a bundle product which covers a range of risks. Something you see in most products, they'll sell a product individually. But what we saw is effective for these people. They wanted a product that can be sold as a bundle. So they only have to buy one product and they buy all these ranges of products which are inside that particular product. Then they also want to buy this product from their people whom they're used to. And these are chamas. So chamas here are informal groups that people get into for either saving or lending to get some money there. So we emulated the same format that they've been using with these chamas to actually sell insurance through the same platform. And now they'll just have to pay to the chama, and then the chama would pay the money to the insurance company. And we've seen that model working. For us, our success starts at getting this person to commit some money and actually pay for insurance. Remember, this is a guy who's never had insurance before. They've never had insurance before. During research, we did a lot of work trying to convince them, no, we're not here as the other brand you may have heard of. We actually had to do research. So forget about all the bad stories we had, and getting them to understand that, and getting them to trust you and to give you time to even talk to them. Now moving from there, from where we started during research, to a point where we're telling them, okay, whatever we discussed with you, whatever you told us to do, we went and did it. We put a product that mirrors what you actually wanted in the first place. Mm-hmm. And then getting to see them commit money and getting into this program. For us, that's a very big win, especially that first premium whenever it comes through, because that's usually the hardest. And now from there, when one group joins in, they go tell their neighbors, hey, there's this new program that has been brought. So we call it Lita Home, basically protect your home. And people actually now joining into this platform. For us, that's a very big milestone, because remember, most of our projects, unlike selling traditional insurance, where I just come tell you, hey, here is an education policy, will you purchase it? With these rural communities, you actually start at education stage. When you're selling, you don't even call it selling. It's not a sales meeting. It's an education meeting. You start with what is insurance, what is covered under insurance. So you basically educate them. When they're educated, the way me and you know it's important to buy insurance because we're educated. You also have to bring them to a certain level of understanding for them now to buy this insurance, trust you, and then now commit money into this. So that has been one of the success stories I can share at the moment. Maybe if you have time, I could also share another one.
I think that's so great, because education should be priority whenever industry players are trying to sell their products, or even beyond just selling your product. It is also having the people to understand the benefits of that service. Like, why should they have insurance? If they're not educated about that, then there's going to be a huge problem, because they wouldn't know the benefits for themselves, which will also make them not be interested in the product, right? So one question before the last question. What would you advise players in the industry who are yet to deliver solutions to rural communities? So usually, like, you have people who, or industry players who are designing products, but yet there's still that divide. Sometimes it's like, because the rural communities don't have access to the internet or basic infrastructures that those in urban areas have. So you kind of see that the rural communities are neglected, right? What would you advise industry players to do in this case? How should they ensure that in designing these products, right, the people in the rural communities are included? Because again, that's the essence of inclusivity, basically.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And actually, for me, it comes down to the main problem we have with insurance in Kenya and Africa in general. And what I would really advise, and actually what we are trying to do, is do not assume you know the problem. I think that's the biggest barrier we have, especially as an industry. Do not assume you know what the problem is. If you think you know the problem, go and test it first. Yeah, put it into a test and let the market validate that the problem actually exists, and the way you're proposing to solve it is actually the right way. So before organizations put up big budgets of emerging markets insurance or inclusive insurance or whatever name they want to call it, I would say go test first, validate your problem, make sure that you're solving the right problem. You just need to come up with a problem in your head and then solve it again in your head and only deliver the solution to the end consumer. You'll actually spend much less of a budget if you actually test what you think first, test your hypothesis first, as opposed to designing a whole product and then pushing it with a big marketing budget to the community. So spending time understanding, is the problem right? Am I solving for the right persona? Do I have the persona very clearly outlined? Who am I selling to? Do I understand each and every pain point of the problem that they're currently undergoing, and how can I do to make that easier for them? Then the other thing I would say is that do not put the entire, whatever you want to call it, the insurance inclusive market, as you do not cover that in one blanket, because the market itself, is the biggest market, the biggest uninsured market. Yeah, it's also very diverse. For example, if you're designing a product for farmers in Kenya and farmers in Uganda, although they may look somehow, they have the similarities, but they also have the subtle difference that actually make or break the product. Yeah, if you talk about informal traders even in Kenya in one market are different from another market. So understanding those subtle differences and designing and customizing for each is what brings about success. So you'll find people do a project in Nigeria, very successful. They come and copy paste it in Kenya, but then it fails miserably. Why? Because although there are similarities, sure, there's some very subtle differences that mostly are distinct and actually the one that make or break the product. So spending a bit of time and being more proactive and more intentional about doing research is actually very important, because in the long run it saves more money than you would have, as opposed if you just went to the market without proper research. And whatever we think we know is only a hypothesis, may either be tested, be proven right or wrong. I think that's my parting shot to anybody willing to come into this space and doing what you're currently doing.
Yes, I think that's a very great response. It's so great. You cannot take away the place of research and having to actually understand the problem that your customer is actually really facing, because that way you're able to design and build the right solutions for them. As a final question, can you please tell us something interesting, one interesting fact about you?
Wow, yeah, this is interesting. So one interesting fact about me is that I love comedy in general. I watch a lot of comedy, Friends, Big Bang Theory, The Office, all the big hits.
Okay.
But the thing interesting about me is actually want to pursue comedy in some way in future. So
Really?
yeah, this could either be hosting a late night show like Trevor Noah or Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, etc., or something in that lane, like a talk show where there's a talk show, there's some bit of comedy going on. That's something I'm very passionate about, and I intend to pursue. So I won't quit insurance, but I'll just do it as a hobby. Maybe I'll have a show on TV, so watch out for that. I'll have a show. Make sure you watch it.
Yes, I will. I will.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, there you go.
Okay, that's so exciting to know. Thank you so much for your time, Louis. It was so great having you hop on this conversation with you and learn about your work and all the amazing projects that you guys are working on right now. I am going to be on the lookout for you and the projects, the implementations, the success, and we wish you all the best. So thank you for your time on this call, and speak to you later.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yvonne, for having me. I mean, it's always a pleasure for me to share this with the world and connect with you and talking to you, and also the work you guys are doing at rural inclusion. It's very important, especially in this space. So I'm also very happy and proud for the guys you guys are doing over there. And we hope we can get to have these conversations, enlighten the industry, share insights, exchange ideas. Always my pleasure to join these forums. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Cool. Bye. Have a great day too.